The average person spends less than 5 minutes per day in true nature, but studies show just 15 minutes in a forest can dramatically reduce stress hormones and blood pressure. Today, we're exploring what happens when we step away from our screens and into the wild.
That's fascinating because I was just reading about how people in Japan practice something called forest bathing. It's becoming this worldwide wellness movement.
Well, it's interesting you mention that because forest bathing, or Shinrin-yoku, has actually been studied extensively. Research shows it can boost our immune system function by up to 40% for weeks after just one session.
Hmm, that makes me think about my recent experience alone in the forest. The sensory experience was completely different from what I expected.
You know what's fascinating about that? Our brains process natural environments differently than urban ones. When we're in nature, we use what scientists call soft attention. It's less taxing on our cognitive resources.
The thing that really struck me was the silence, but here's the thing. It wasn't actually silent at all. It was like discovering this whole new frequency of sound.
That's exactly what researchers at Harvard found. They discovered that natural soundscapes activate different neural pathways than artificial noise. It's like our brains are literally wired to find peace in nature's symphony.
Speaking of natural sounds, what about that amazing fact you mentioned earlier about how birds coordinate their songs?
Oh yes, it's called acoustic niche hypothesis. Scientists have found that birds in the same ecosystem actually adjust their song frequencies to avoid overlapping, like nature's own radio stations. Some species even take turns creating these incredible dawn and dusk choruses.
Well, that really puts our human communication in perspective, doesn't it? I mean, we think we're so advanced with our technology.
And speaking of advanced communication, let me tell you about the Wood Wide Web, this incredible network where trees share resources through underground fungal connections. A single mature tree can be connected to hundreds of others sharing nutrients and warning signals.
That's mind-blowing. How exactly does that work?
So, get this. These fungal networks can span hundreds of acres. Scientists have found that older trees, which they call mother trees, can recognize and preferentially send resources to their own seedlings. They've even observed trees sharing carbon with sick neighbors.
That really challenges our perception of forests as just collections of individual trees competing for resources.
Exactly, and here's something even more incredible. A single teaspoon of healthy forest soil contains more living organisms than there are people on Earth. We're talking about billions of microorganisms working together in perfect harmony.
And that makes me think about how disconnected we've become from these natural systems in our modern world.
You're onto something crucial there. Studies show that the average American child now spends less than 7 minutes per day in unstructured outdoor play, while logging over 7 hours of screen time.
So what does that mean for our mental and physical health?
Well, research is showing some concerning trends. Time in nature has been linked to everything from improved immune function to better mental health. One study found that hospital patients who could see trees from their windows recovered 24% faster than those who couldn't.
That's remarkable. Nature is medicine, essentially.
And it goes even deeper. Scientists have identified something called biophilia, our innate biological connection with nature. It's why we feel calmer around plants, why we're drawn to natural patterns, and why even pictures of nature can lower our stress levels.
Looking back on my forest experience, I think that's exactly what I felt. This deep, almost prehistoric connection.
That feeling actually has a scientific basis. When we're in nature, our prefrontal cortex, the part of our brain associated with negative self-reflection, becomes less active. It's like the forest helps us step out of our own heads.
That explains why I felt both small and somehow more connected to everything.
And perhaps that's the most profound lesson here. In disconnecting from our digital world and reconnecting with nature, we might just find the peace and perspective we've been searching for all along.